You like this. Hello, 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 everybody. Happy Friday. Today's January 21st in California. It is 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Super excited to be here and kick your weekend off with a vision. Yeah. I love it. So, if you don't know me, I'm Jennifer Hart, and I have a big vision for the world, which is why this is one of the topics that we are speaking on today. And I will be having Melissa Acuña-Dengo join me here in just a minute. But my big vision for the world is to leave an impact and raise the consciousness overall through personal development, spirituality, and self growth, giving lots of connection in different ways. So, people who are seeking change and growth, I help them to get connected to the information, people, resources, and the events that are happening that they might not know about that can help them on their journey in multiple ways with multiple different categories and topics. So, if you have followed me at all, you can see I have different things happening all the time. So, thanks for joining us today. It's a little bit of a different live today because I am going to make my very first official offer, which is super exciting and also a little nerve wracking. So I'm super happy to have with me one of my BFFs, partners in crimes, and biggest supporter and fan, Melissa Acuña-Dengo. She is an inner transformation guide. She's a trauma specialist. I've personally worked with her on many occasions, and I have done two intensive releases in my own journey to help me get to where I am today. So, welcome, Melissa. Thank you for joining us. Woohoo!
Woo, thanks for having me. And I can't tell you how excited I am. And I know you've got a little bit of some jitters going on, but I am
I
so
do.
excited for this because Jen, the world freaking needs you. So I just
Oh,
want to say I'm honored to be here for this moment.
thank you so much. So, a little backstory on Melissa and I. We met at a event called Mission to Millions, and so it's interesting and fun and synchronistic that today we are talking about those big visions that we were creating and documenting at that time. And then we kept in touch. It was just like one of those connections when you meet someone and you feel like the instant bond, like you've known each other forever. And we have been on the same journey. We are actually very, very alike. We are both very big visionaries with like a million ideas and a desire and the knowing that we are here to impact the world with love, light, and awareness in multi-faceted ways. That's the best. We're multi-passionate. And if you know me personally, you can absolutely attest to that because I'm like, oh, and this, and I want to do this. So we wanted to come together today for many reasons. One is that we want to talk about visions in general, and this is especially for the creative visionaries. I personally believe everybody's a visionary, and it's all in different ways. And we'll be focusing a lot on visionaries who have a million ideas like us and want to get them out to the world in the best way possible. Do you have anything to add to that, Melissa?
A lot, but I mean, I guess the first thing I'll say is, yeah, that, there are so many people out there who have these gigantic visions like us. And I think so many of them are even afraid of their big vision and the fact that they're afraid to dream, they're afraid to have these visions because they think it's like it's so big, what am I going to do with that? And so they hold back and they play small, right? And so we're going to talk about really the power of owning it, stepping into it, and getting clear on it. So yeah, I guess that's all I'll say for now.
Okay, sorry, working a little back end here. I realized that I forgot to share it to my personal page, which I should have set a reminder for myself. So while I am doing that, let me have you talk about and start us off with what is a big vision to you? What does that look like?
Yeah, for sure. So I feel like a big vision is something that It's a heart calling, like, that's what's coming up for me. It's like it's a soul and a heart calling. It's something that is inside of you that you can feel almost. It's almost like this visceral calling, and you might not be sure what it actually is, but it's almost like a knowing that you are meant to make a massive difference in the world. Like you are meant to disrupt something, break some pattern, change something, revolutionize, some sort of system, or simply just share your gifts in a way that really helps and serves the world in whatever way that looks, because everyone's gifts are so profoundly different, right? But it's this thing that is so much bigger than you. And I think that's like a huge key, is that our big vision goes way beyond us and who we are, right? Like it's about really stepping out into the world. And I think, Jen, this is also why like you are such a needed part of society, because connection, right? Like having those connections that actually help you to live out that vision is going to be massive, 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 right? Because I think we all learn at some point that, we're one person and we can't do it all alone. We can absolutely realize that big vision, and that's something we're going to talk about today. And the power of having support, having people on the journey, having people that we connect with, people that we can speak our vision to, right? Like all of those things are going to, first of all, lessen that overwhelm that we feel, and second of all, actually help us get there. Right.
Oh my gosh, I have so many downloads coming through. Thank you for starting us off with that. That's so awesome. Hey Danny, what? She's
Woo!
another visionary. All right, so I got it shared to my page. Yay. I'm like, is this self-sabotage going on right now? I'm just gonna call it out and acknowledge it and move on anyways. So, what I want to add to that is like for me as a kid, I knew that I was meant to do something big here. Like I had a big vision and I was meant to help change the world on a scale that I don't even know in a big way. And I don't even know I was a kid. And now that I'm an adult and I've been on my spiritual and my personal development journey, I've been able to start to articulate that vision and bring it to life and to light. Part of that is showing up here today, doing my lives, Jennifer Hart Connected, and finding that my one thing. I love that. So if you missed it yesterday, we did a live with Danny Muniz, and she read my birth chart, and it's so crazy because it aligns perfectly with this. And she was just talking about the Aquarian energy. And so it's like taking those small steps and finding out what that one thing is for me has been super powerful. And you said so much good stuff, Melissa. I should have wrote it down because it was just like all flowing through me. So a big vision is just something that it's like you're getting all of these ideas and these downloads. And it's crazy how many people I hear share ideas with me and do nothing with them. And there's so many reasons why, right? I mean, we could get into that. I didn't put it on my list, but we'll just flow. We're just going to flow here today. And what was in the way for me was a lot of like inner work and personal stuff. And as we found out yesterday on my birth chart, is that I'm actually here to experience that and then share it with others, which fits like perfectly with what I've decided to create with the Connected Soul Network. And also my lives is helping people to dive into their visions and find their gifts, strengths, and talents. Like Melissa said, it's different for everybody. Everybody is here with gifts, strengths, and talents, whether you think so or not. I used to think I wasn't creative. I used to think I didn't have any gifts, strengths, and talents. I always thought like creativity was an artist, like a musician, a painter, or a poet. And I was like, oh, that's not me. But I have gifts in different ways, right? And we all do. You do. And if you don't know your gifts, I mean, we can help you find them. And it's super important to do so. And most of the time, I'll just leave a quick note with this: is it something that comes so easy to you that you don't even realize that it's a gift because it's so natural and you just go, oh, doesn't everybody do that? No, that's not true. There might be other people, but still your gift is the fact that you do that, because the way that you do something is different than the way that somebody else does something. And so one of the things that I'm doing with my vision is I'm bringing together all of the people that are using their gifts in the world to help raise up the consciousness of the planet. And I'm like, hold on. So I have to take a minute because I'm like, I'm just getting all of this stuff. And what it is for me is I don't believe that anything or any person is a one size fits all. And I believe in collaboration over competition. So I want to help develop as many people as possible that want to be developed, whether it's just for your personal life or you want to step into a bigger, higher mission and help other people do the same. And I think that we're all here to help other people, right? And if you get any hits, Melissa, on anything, feel free to chime in at any time. I'm just going off right now. I'm like all of the things that I think. And we can come so much further if we come together and we help other people. So it's like today I'm going to make an offer to people. And if it works for them and it fits for them, that's awesome. And if it doesn't, like that's okay too. And that's what we have to know is that somebody can do the same thing as us. Because I had a little bit of scarcity mindset. And I was like, Melissa, I'm really worried. Like, I don't want to talk about the vision mapping program because, like, what if someone steals it and they just go and they do it themselves or they try to run it? And then I was like, wait a minute, like, that's not what I stand for. I stand for abundance. I stand for collaboration. I stand for authenticity and uniqueness. And so, yeah, sure, someone can take the information and do it themselves. And I am so happy for them. That was the path. That's the trust and the faith in the universe, right? And also, there's the piece of if someone else were to use the same methods and ideas that I've created with this program, it's like it's still going to be different because they're not me. They don't have my energy, they don't have my experience. Like life is seriously not a one size fits all. Like there is no two people in the world alike at all because we've all had different experiences. Even if you're twins, like you like identical twins, you still like experienced life a separate way.
Mhm.
So, I'm going off on a tangent, Melissa. Do you wanna add anything to
No,
that?
well, that's exactly what I was gonna say, right? Like, no one is you, and that is your superpower. Like,
Yes.
nobody can do it the way you can, and I also feel it's like when we are trying to do things in a way that doesn't fit us, that doesn't, you know, align with who we are at our core, that's when we start to feel really stuck, stagnant, out of
Mm,
alignment. We form disconnection inside, right? And then it's when we actually start stepping into our gifts, right? And really owning who we are, that's where the power comes from. And so I agree, Jen, like, 10 people could take what you share and try to do it themselves, but they're not you. And, I also feel like we are given these visions for a reason. Like we're given these visions because we are able to fulfill them and we have a special secret sauce that nobody else has that can is perfectly aligned with that vision, right? And so it's like when we choose to accept that that calling, that mission, that vision, right, that magic starts to happen. And I've seen it in so many people, and I've seen it in you. It's like the moment you own to like I'm a connector and I'm meant to connect people and information, and just the amount of people that flow to you just in a really magical and aligned way is really incredible, right? And
yeah.
it's the same for all of us. It's like owning that. And I really love the fact that you always say that, like, yeah, life is not one size fits all, and nothing is. Like healing isn't, transformation isn't, all of it, right? Like, it's all different for everyone, right? We're all made up really differently. We're all just like this miraculous little creation, right? And creators at the same time, right?
Yeah.
And when we actually own that, there's so much power in it. There's so much power in saying, I am me, no one else is me, and that's my superpower.
Oh, I love that. It absolutely is. Yeah. And what I wanna add to that too is, just touching upon the vision that we all carry. I think everybody sees it in whatever way it is. It might be different for us. And then we come here for that reason, in my opinion, right? That's my belief is that we all come down here to have those visions that are connected to a higher power, whatever you call it, God, source, the universe. I personally like the universe the best. And the universe like sends me these visions, and then it's my duty to step into it. And holy crap, it's scary. Like, I'll be honest, like, and this is part of the authentic self. So like I just feel like there's a power in coming on and being authentic with you. Like, this is scary. I'm going to tell you that, and I'm going to do it anyways. And the biggest piece, like, so well, we'll say it now, but we'll get into it later. Like, one of the biggest pieces that you need when you are actually stepping into your visions and living into them is having support, which Melissa mentioned earlier. Because there was a time, it was about 3 years ago, and I went to go put on an event, and someone asked me a question that really made me doubt myself. And I threw it all away. And it's crazy because I had already posted the idea on Facebook and said who would be interested in this, and I had a ton of responses of people that would have signed up that day. And they're waiting for me, just like people are waiting for you to live into your gifts and to, work your magic, as we would like to call it. So anyways, a big vision is anything that is like this idea that you see that could happen that hasn't happened yet, or it could be an idea that's already happened and you see a different way to do it or to make it better. And it's big because it's out of your comfort zone and it's a little bit scary, right? And then the power of these visions, like Melissa was saying earlier, when I decided to step into the title, and the one thing that I feel that I am is the connectedness and the connector, it's like the universe supported me so much, and all of these people, "Hi, Amanda, you made it, yay." All of these people just started showing up in my life, and I 100% believe in the power of the universe, the signs, the synchronicities. The Alchemist is one of my favorite books. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it, and he says in there, when you want something, the universe conspires to support you in that. That's not the exact quote. And what I find is that when you take these visions, so the universe has sent you, and you make your reality the reality and you bring them together, holy crap, there is so much power in that. And that vision is going to have ripple effects across the way. So Melissa was one of my clients in my vision mapping program for visionaries. And it's like I get to see her now live her vision. And I helped one person, but this one person is going to help millions of people. Holy crap. Like, how powerful is that? Like, what are you sitting on? You're sitting on a gold mine. And what are you waiting for to put it into fruition? Like, what's stopping you? And I think, well, now would be a good time maybe to talk about what might be stopping people. And this is super Melissa's area of expertise. So I'll let you take it away first, Melissa. What stops people from living into their visions, creating their visions, and moving them forward?
Yeah, for sure. Um, all right. So there's a lot. The first thing that really comes up for me is a lack of self-worth, right? So really summarized in the world of trauma and trauma release, which is my world, we call it baggage. So it's all of the things that are under the surface that we might not be aware of, that are there and that are holding us back, right? So if you were watching the live yesterday, Jen and Danny talked about the unconscious mind, right? Or the subconscious mind, and how powerful it is and how it rules 95% of us, our experience, right? Our thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and behavior, right? Which then leads to our results. So if we're not living the life that we truly desire, if we're not living that vision, it's because there are things inside of us that are holding us back. And that can be a belief like, I'm not good enough. I don't have what it takes. I'm not capable, right? It could be that came from an experience when you were a child. Usually these things are actually created between the ages of 0 and 8. So it's a really, really young age, and usually there it comes from things that you were told, things that you experienced, that you saw, right? And you formed a belief at that moment, right? And sometimes it can be as quick as this moment, when you were told something or you got rejected. Like maybe, you drew a picture and you showed it to someone, and that person didn't pay attention. Maybe they were really in their own space in that moment, and they didn't have the space to give you that praise and validation that you were looking for as a little kid. And in that moment, they either just blew you off, or maybe they said something like, oh yeah, that's okay. Or, I think of The Little Prince, where if you've ever read that book, the protagonist says that he actually let go of creativity because the adults, when he was a kid, told him that he wasn't cut out to be an artist. He wasn't cut out to be, you know, whatever it was. Like I think he wanted to be an artist, and he drew a picture, and all of the adults made fun of his picture and said that he wasn't good at drawing. So he completely stopped drawing forever until he was an adult. And it's, how often do we do that? How often do we actually hold ourselves back from fully stepping into our gifts, right? Our God-given divine gifts, because of things that we were told when we were kids. And we take on these beliefs and we say, no, this isn't, I'm not good at that. I can't do that. Right. And then we form fear. We have suppressed emotions that tell us that we can't do it. Right. Because every time we try to go for something that feels scary, that feels big, feels out of our comfort zone, right, what happens is our unconscious mind freaks out. We go into fight or flight. And this is pretty key, because if you've ever experienced this, it might be something that you are really excited about. It might be something that you just know that you need to do. But the moment you start to take action, you freeze or you run, right? So freeze, fight, flight, or you start to fight against it, and you're freaking out, and you suddenly have anxiety. You're like, well, where is this coming from? I was really excited for this. Well, what's happening is your unconscious mind is looking at the uncertainty of this new experience that you have never done before, right? It's so far out of your comfort zone. It's something you've never experienced. And your unconscious mind is like, whoa, 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 hold on, hold on. We don't know what's going to happen, and we could die. Right? Like it will go there. Your unconscious mind will go to uncertainty can kill us, and it will say, even if my comfort zone is really, really uncomfortable and it's full of misery and pain, at least I know I can survive that because I've survived it in the past. So it's going to say, it's like, I might not be happy or comfortable here. I might not be feeling fulfilled, but at least I know I can keep myself alive. And so I'm not going to go for that because I don't know if I can survive that. And so that's really huge, because when we actually have that awareness and we know that our unconscious mind is trying to just protect us, we can actually speak to it and work with it and let it know that it's okay, it's safe, it's time to move on. We can let those things go. Yeah, I don't want to go too far into that, but that's
Well, that's a whole nother day of
yeah,
we could talk about that for a whole day. Well, and I also want to say, like, and this might be a little woo woo for some people, but past lives play a part in this. So Melissa does these intensive root cause releases, and I've done two of them with her. And what's crazy is that both of my root cause beliefs were about being unworthy. And so now that we've cleared that out, I'm here today because of that. Like, I kid you not, like, I've been in a ton of coaching programs, and I refuse to sell anything. I even had people call me and be like, "Hey, Jen, I really like the way that you do this, and I'd like to hire you." And I'm like, "Oh no, not for sale. Sorry." What? Because I didn't feel worthy, and there was deeper things there. And a lot of stuff I had from past lives, also this life too. So what I want to say is, like, how do we move forward if you have this big vision and you feel called to do it? Because it's up to you. Like, nobody's going to force you to follow your vision. Like, you have to have an innate desire. But what we're saying is that there might be baggage there that's holding you back from doing it. So if you can just move just a little bit past that and say, okay, I want to do it. What do I need to do? Like, for me, I'm super clear that, like, I was put here on earth to help other people and to make an impact on the planet. So I am doing everything that I can to move forward and move myself forward, to move everybody else forward, right? So what I have done to move forward is I've done healing sessions with a lot of different types of healing modalities, different healers. I've done coaching. I've attended workshops. I've attended coaching programs. All have been very helpful. And the support is huge. Like having people. So, like, what I see happening for myself and other people is that we share some of our visions with people and they poo-poo them. Like, oh, they put their own fears on them, like whatever. I don't even have an example right now, but or that's just too hard. Like, no, you should just have a 9 to 5 job and get a pension, and that's crazy. Melissa, if you have any examples, feel free to chime in. um but it's like, so you need the right people to share those visions with, who say, hell yeah, like you can do it. Like they have unwavering faith and belief in you. And I'm speaking because this is what I need. So everything that I'm saying right now is all things that I've experienced and that I have needed in my own life. I need people that just go, damn, Jen, that's a crazy idea and you can freaking do it, like 100%. Like, don't tell me why I can't do it, because that's just our minds, right? We're the ones who put our limits on ourselves, and then we allow outside influences to put the limits on us also. And that's what I did 3 years ago. Set up this event, already had tickets kind of pre-sold, and then I showed up and I talked to this lady and she questioned me on a few things, and then I went, "Oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy, like I'm not deserving." And I left. And if I had the right support system, which I do now, but if I had the right support system, I would have moved forward anyways, right? And that brings me to my next point. Acknowledge any fears or anything that's in the way and move forward. Like the first thing I came on this call and did is said, I'm nervous, like I'm scared, like I've never made an offer to people. I also asked myself, am I sabotaging myself because I forgot to share it to my personal page? And what's crazy is that I usually set it up to just run on my personal page. I don't know what thought in my head was like, run it on your business page and then you can share it. Like, why? So I acknowledge that to myself, to my subconscious brain, to the universe. And then I say, and I'm still going to show up. And I'm so freaking fortunate that I have a person like Melissa in my life who is the best support system ever. And that she has, is here with me today because we're on the same journey. We are on this journey together. She's in the same exact boat as I am, a creative visionary with a million ideas and wanting to make a big impact on the world. And we're figuring out how to do it together. And we are surrounded now by a ton of people that are the same. And I see a bunch of you in the comments who are on the same journey. So you totally understand. I love that so much. And then the next thing that we can talk about is, like, what's the worst that can happen, right? If you do start to step out and start to fulfill your vision. I don't know. What's the worst that can happen? Like, you have to ask yourself that. For me, I'm like, well, I can come on this live today and I can make an offer. It's going to be scary. I'm going to do it anyways. And the worst that can happen is there's crickets. Like, nobody wants it, nobody comments on it. I feel rejected. Um, what else? I'm like, so much stuff can come up, like, oh, I'm not good enough. I don't, the stories are endless, right? But am I gonna die? No, not gonna die. I'll be all right. Call a friend, talk about it, like laugh about it. I use humor as a defense mechanism. So make some jokes about it. And you know what? I'll be fine and I'll move on anyways. And so will you. And that's just, I really want to point that out because I feel like we all go through that experience. And when I say authentic sales, like I want to call this out. Like it's not, it's a different level for everybody, but we're all like on the same page with it. Like even I see like these big people, Mel Robbins, and I can't think of any other names right now, but they've even said like I still, struggle with self-doubt and imposter syndrome. It's not different for any person. Like we are humans, that is the experience that we are here to have. So like what would it look like if we just authentically came out and said, this is what I'm doing, these are my fears, I'm going to do it anyways, let's hold hands and do it together.
Mhm.
And
I
you
love
what do you
that.
have to add to that, Melissa?
Yes. Yeah, I had a lot that came through, but Yeah, and just to speak to that last thing that you just said, right, is doing it so it's yes, it's doing it together, but also being that light and that inspiration because you owning your fears, acknowledging them, and then freaking stepping up and doing it anyway, um, that gives people permission to do the same, right? So to actually step up for themselves, right? And it's like absolutely every new thing, every new level that we're stepping into is going to bring up some level of fear, right? There is something there because it is new, right? Going back to like what the unconscious mind does when we're approaching something new and something different, right? And what I was going to say is that when we talk about like you didn't use the word failure, but you were talking about like okay, like what's the worst thing that can happen, right? And if we think about that, we're like okay, yeah, we do go to this place of deep fear where it's like, "I'm gonna die." But really when we actually put ourselves out there and we survive, right? We could tell ourselves, "Well, I didn't die." And there is no like in the world of neurolinguistic programming, right? We say there's no failure, only feedback. And I love that because it is so true. So every time that we put ourselves out there, we take a giant leap of faith and we do something really scary and we take the bold actions, we could fall flat on our face. But then like you said, we cry, we own it, we acknowledge it, we say, all right, like I fell flat on my face. There were crickets, blah, blah, blah. This happened, right? We can go into our little shame spiral, but then we pick ourselves up. And this time, we're not starting from scratch. And I think this is really important for some people to hear. Like, we are starting from experience. So you've already done the thing, you've already put yourself out there, you've jumped, you've leapt. And now you have that experience to hold you. And now you can tell your unconscious mind, we did it. We didn't die. That's what you were scared of, right? We're alive, And now we've got this experience under our belt. And we can actually tell ourselves, look, it's absolutely fine. Like this happened. And now I know how I can show up better, or I can just pivot, I can shift something, or I can just go out and try again because I know that I'm going to survive it. And every time that I do it, I'm going to get closer to that result that I'm really looking for. Right. And it's, like in the world of sales, it's like every no gets you closer to that next yes. Right. And so it's reminding ourselves, right. And saying, all right, like we are building resilience. And like, one of my favorite quotes, and this is a meme that's gone around, you've probably seen it, right? Where, and I don't know if I'm going to say it exactly right, but it's like that fear speaks to us, right? That's like, maybe it's the brain or the mind that says, because you're thinking about leaping, right? Usually there's a picture of someone like waiting to jump, right? And they're like, well, what if I fall, right? And then your heart goes, well, my dear, what if you fly? And that's it. It's like I think that every time that I am in that place where I'm feeling that intense fear and I'm not wanting to leap and I'm kind of doing this little dance because I can feel the hesitation, I can feel the fear, right? And I remind myself that like the worst thing that can happen is yeah, maybe I do fall, but I actually have this amazing support system that can help me get back up. And I am willing to take that chance because if I fly, the impact that I can then have on the world is really massive. And so I always come back to my vision is greater than my fear, right? My vision is so much bigger and so much more powerful than my fear. And so it's like every time I give in to fear, I'm stepping away from my vision, right? If you actually think about like anyone who's familiar with like A Course in Miracles, right? Talk about like the two forces that are love and fear. And I believe that those big visions come from love, right? It comes from the divine. They're downloads from the divine. So when we're choosing our fear, we're not choosing love because love and fear can't coexist at the same time. So when we are actually choosing to step into our vision, we're choosing love, we're choosing joy, we're choosing these high vibrations, right? And it's okay if sometimes we slip into the fear, that's all right. But we can remind ourselves that we can always choose to come back to love, and we can always choose to come back to our vision. And that's it's that dance that we get to do, right?
Yeah, I love that you said that dance because Amanda just said that dance before leaping can be so intense, which is so true. And I'm laughing because Danny said the new level, the same devil. Like it's true. Like whenever you up level, there's going to be new challenges, new obstacles, new things that come up. And for me, I always say more work for me to release, more onion layers to peel off. But so first of all, the failure topic, like that is a whole life in itself. Like I really want to normalize failure. I feel like it's such a nasty caca word. And when you hear it, it just has in my world a negative connotation. And I'm like, it's not bad. And we make it bad. And it's like, what if at the dinner table every day we're like, what'd you fail at today? And we celebrated it, you know? Like what kind of world would we be in? Because we would make failure just a normal thing. But right now, failure is so bad. Like, oh my God, like, don't fail. I don't want to fail. But I'm all, let's leave that for another live because I could just go on a tangent. Um, the next thing I wanted to say, based off of what you said, Melissa, is that is the reason why it is so important to have a vision. Because when you have the vision, at least for me and my experience, that's why I still get out of bed every day. That's why I still show up. Like, I mean, if you've been with me, my very first live on StreamYard, I was so excited. We did the live, it went amazing. And then I did not turn off the broadcast. So I literally had the back like conversation, called the person that was on the live with me and was like, "Oh my god, that was so awesome." And like for 5 minutes, like we just were sitting there chatting and I did not know I was still live. That was so embarrassing and funny. And then finally I was like looking at the comments while I'm on the phone with him and I was like, "Oh my god, it says you're still live." And so I came in here and I freaked out. And it's like I could have never showed up again. And I was like, I have to take all the videos down now. Oh my gosh, this is horrible. What are people going to think? And then I watched it and I was like, oh, it's not really that bad. And I was like, it's kind of funny. So I left it because it's not failure. Like it was just human, like error. And I was learning. I tried something new. So instead of focusing on what went wrong, I focused on what went right. And I like see the big vision that I have. And I was like, nope, I got to come back because people need me. Like I have people that reach out after these lives and they're like, oh, I learned so much, you inspired me to do this. And I'm like, what if I don't show up? What's happening for these people? And you have to ask yourself the same thing, like what gifts, strengths, and talents do you have and what visions do you have that you're not living into that people are waiting for you? And it's just, if you really think about the impact that one person can have, it's huge. And so what if we all start to wake up and take hands and step into these, and I'm telling you it's happening right now. Like in the last 2 years with COVID, since 2020, people are waking up and they're saying, what is this life that we have? Like what's society created for us? And I'm going to tell you there's more than what meets the eye with society. It's not just you go to a 9 to 5 job and you get a house and you get married and you have kids, because I'll tell you what, I see a lot of people that have that and they're real unhappy because their soul is dead. Like they're not feeling like alive. They're not living, right? um I mean, only you could know that for yourself. Like I see that with people, but it's up to them if they want to choose a different path. And a lot of people are right now. So it's very important for those of us that are a little bit further on the path that are stepping into our gifts, strengths, and talents to connect with our vision and start moving forward with it. So what I ended up doing is what I needed help with myself, which was mapping out my vision. So I called it a vision map. And I had all these random ideas. Like seriously, like I was like, I don't even know how these connect together. And so I started mapping them all out. I literally did a map on my wall. I drew all these things. And when I brought them together and I stood back and I looked at it, I was like, oh my gosh, like they're all connected. And that's when I realized my one thing is connection, and I'm a connector and I'm connecting people. Cause at first I was like, oh, it's all me. Like, I got to do all this stuff. This is crazy. And then I was like, no, it's not. It's me connecting all the people that are doing it. That's why I'm calling to the visionaries and also to the people who are starting to question, like, is there more? Like, do I have a purpose? Am I fulfilled? Like, that was my thing. I have to be fulfilled. That's my purpose in life, is to feel fulfilled. And so when I stood back, I was able to see the patterns. And then it took me another long time, couple years, to put them all together and to create what I'm creating now. And I needed somebody to help me. Like, what I really wanted was someone to just sit down with me and to listen to everything that I had to say, and to see the pattern for me, because we miss things. We're so close to our stuff, we don't always see it. We need to have like an outside perspective, for our blind spots in these visions, and we're just so close to it, like it's just a scattered mess and we can't see it. And so I ended up, working through it myself, which I think was for a reason, for the fact of creating this program. So now I can help other people do the same by helping them. And then the other things I needed support, I needed a cheerleader, and I needed just like unwavering faith and belief. Now I've had to learn that for myself, but I have also built a community around me of amazing people that I can call and brainstorm with, or mind map with, and or mastermind, that's the word I was looking for. Or say, oh my god, like Melissa, I was like, I'm a little shaky, like I'm eating my food, regulating my nervous system right now, but if you want to hop on like 5 minutes early, we could do a quick like breathing thing and set the intention for the day. So why I say this is, it's so important to be connected to that vision, because I go to all these things and they're always like, what's your why? And I'm like, my why is my vision, right? But I wasn't clear on my vision. So I wasn't super connected to it. And now that I'm very clear on my vision, and it gets clearer every day, like the more I do things, the more clarity I get. But like the clarity at this point is very, very clear. I can easily move forward. It's like all the mess has been jumbled. Like I have an action plan that I'm able to execute easily and efficiently, working on the efficiently part. Melissa, do you have anything to add? Sorry, I'm just like going off now.
No, I love it. You're on a roll, but
Was. I'm just like,
um,
let me share with the world what I want to help people with, and like wake up and let's do it. Let's go.
yeah, no, I love it. I love it. And it's so huge. And I agree, and as someone who has had that experience and has been through your program, I can really attest to how incredibly powerful this is. So I don't know if you wanted to start have me share a little bit of that, or do you still want to?
Yeah. No, I think that's good. I was just looking at the rough bullet list that we made. So how to act on your vision would be the next thing, which I just talked about, like mapping it out.
Mhm.
And you can share. So what we did with Melissa is I sat down with her and we mapped out her vision and made her a plan, and I'll let you share your own experience. It's better from your mouth than
Yes.
mine.
So to speak really quickly to this, how to act on it, it's like before you can act on anything, you have to be aware of and you have to have clarity around what you're going to act on, right? And what the action steps are, because otherwise you're just taking random action. And then that's when we fall into busyness, which I really don't like the word busy at this point, because it seems like so many people are always busy. And when you're busy, you're not being intentional. So it's like you're just taking action all over the place, right? And I will absolutely raise my hand and say that, I have done that. Like I was in this place where I was spinning out because I had, like Jen said, a million ideas. So I am someone who just like Jen, like she said, we're very similar. We've had a lot of parallels. Like as a kid, I knew that I was meant to do something really huge in the world, that I had this massive vision, this calling. I was meant to change the world. I always thought I was a little crazy because whenever I brought that up, people would be like, okay, but I've always been this massive visionary, and what, like Marie Forleo calls a multi-passionate entrepreneur. So there's so many things that I want to do, so many problems I want to solve in the world, so many different types of people I want to help. And I just didn't know how it all fit together. And I think that's kind of the biggest thing, because when we don't know that and we don't have clarity on what that bigger vision is, we get really stuck. And then we actually get really scattered and really stagnant, and we start giving up our energy to way too many things. And I will say that I'm someone who really fell into like overcommitting. So, I had my hand in a million different pots. I was like, 50 plates spinning all over the place. I mean, I was running 3 different companies, just to give you an idea of like where I was. And one company is hard, right? Like one business is hard to run. Now 3, that's a whole other story, right? I was going crazy. I really was. And I was in a place of burnout over and over and over again. Right? So I kept coming to this place of burnout, and I didn't understand why, because I was like, wait a minute, but I'm living out my passion, right? Like I'm an entrepreneur. I'm helping people heal and transform their lives. Like I have all these amazing testimonials of clients who like have transformed their lives because of my work. Why am I getting burnt out? Why am I frustrated? Why am I stuck? Like I couldn't understand it. I was like, I gave up the 9 to 5 and all of the things that I thought were frustrating and soul sucking and all of that for me, right? Like speaking about my own experience here, but and I thought, well, I should really feel aligned. I should feel really good all the time. I should always feel that flow because I'm doing the work that I love, right? So that's the story that I had in my head. But the reality was that I was getting sick all the time. I was burnt out. I was frustrated. I was feeling really lost because I knew that there was this massive, massive, massive vision inside of me and out there somewhere in the horizon. And I knew that I was doing work that I loved and that I was passionate about, but it just didn't make sense to me, like, how I was gonna get from where I was and what I was doing to that really huge, life-changing, life-altering impact that I was looking for, right? So I was like, "What?" I was like, "I don't know," and, like, the more time that passed, the more I was like, "Okay, yes, I can look at every win, I can look at every client and say, I'm making a difference, I'm making a difference to this person. Yes. But if I want that really overall massive impact, I need to get clarity on where it is I'm going, like what it is I'm actually doing. Like, what am I working towards? What is that ultimate goal, that ultimate vision? And, I'm lucky to have a BFF who is incredible at, connecting pieces together and seeing things that other people don't see. And that's something that I want to call out for you, because I know that like you were talking about this earlier, that the things that come naturally to us, we don't always realize that these are gifts, right? But you have such a powerful way of listening, and I think that it also comes from your gift of empathy, right? And if anyone knows strengths finders, like Jen's like big strength, or what we've come to know as like the anchor strength, right, is empathy. And she has this incredible gift of empathy, like this way of listening to people, that it's almost like she can hear their heart. Right? Like I know that this sounds really strange, but it's so true. It's like I and Jen, I might like get really emotional here, but you know there are very few people in this world that have made me feel so seen and so heard. And really, like when I speak to you, I feel so incredibly seen, so deeply heard, because you have a way of hearing things that it's like you can really speak to what the person was truly saying and feeling. And so having somebody like that hold a space for you and help you to connect the dots is so incredibly powerful, because yes, I could have, and I did actually. I did a couple times. I tried to regurgitate everything that I had in my head and like spit it out on paper. And it was okay, but it just left me with a list that I didn't know what to do with. Like I just was like, okay, it's a list of everything I want to do cool. I was like, I don't really know what to do with that. Right. But it was so powerful to sit down with you, to have you listen. And also the fact that, I knew that not only was I being heard and that someone was holding that space and was listening to everything that I was saying, but that I didn't have to worry about, taking notes, writing everything down, like, all of that. Like you were taking all the notes for me. And so I was able to just speak. And so I was able to speak from the heart, speak from the soul, tap in, right? And actually tap into my intuition. And you kept up with like all of like my guides are speaking to me now. And like I'm getting intuitive hits and oh, here, this, oh, and this, and this, and this. And it was so beautiful to know that you had me. Like it's like I got you, like no worries. And so you literally wrote everything, like word for word, like even things I didn't know you were writing. I was like, cool. And that was so powerful because I was able to fully get everything out. Another superpower of yours that I'm gonna say is asking questions. You ask really powerful questions. So, it's even in that reflection. It's like, all right, so I'm regurgitating all of these things that are in my head, everything that I have ever thought of doing, everything that I'm doing, all of those pots that I was talking about, right? We got it all out. And in a really great structured way. I actually really, really enjoyed how you structured it and the way that you got it all out. I think the order in which we did it was actually really powerful, and we can talk a little bit more about that. But I really loved that because it was like, well, and I guess I'll just say it, like getting first, like, what are all the things that you're actually doing? Because what that helped me to see was where I was putting my time and my energy. Because remember, I was talking about the burnout, the getting sick, the feeling frustrated, feeling overwhelmed, feeling like I was just scattering my energy and like giving my energy up to way too many things. So I was just in this place of just like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm spinning out here. And so getting clear on, well, what am I putting my energy to? And where can I actually like clear things and get rid of some of these things and start stepping into like that powerful no, right? So that was like the first step. And then we worked our way up to that big vision. But I think if we had started with, well, what's your big vision? Like, I wouldn't have been able to do that. I wouldn't have been able to tell you because first we had to clear all the stuff that's in the way, right? And that's something that I think we heard at Mission to Millions, actually. Clarity, right? It's something that's inside of us. Like everybody is seeking clarity outside of themselves, when really clarity is what comes when you clear the blocks, right? It's when you get rid of all of the things that are holding you back. You're actually able to tap into that inner clarity that we all have. We all have that inner wisdom, and it's speaking to us, and that vision is inside. But I needed you to help me pull it out, and to do it in a very specific and strategic way, and also using your intuition and the questions that you asked that were so powerful, that helped to get to those deeper layers, right? And there were some questions that you asked me that I was like, whoa, okay, hold on. Like I have to look at that now and like reflect on that. And then, but then I had an answer, and the answers flowed. And then it just, every time there was like an aha and a light bulb. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, and it was, and then I got more and more excited as the puzzle pieces started to come together. And it was just so beautiful, right? Because I think I had shared with you that I felt like before I had a million pieces that were all different, had all these rugged edges, and none of them fit together. And it was all just like all over the place. And as we started working together, the puzzle pieces just slowly started aligning and coming together. And at the end of our work together, I had this amazing puzzle that was so beautiful, and it all fit. Like all the pieces were in there. And I was like, I could breathe, and it was just like, it just felt so good. I have so much more to say, but I feel like I'm rambling, so I'm gonna
Okay,
stop.
let me chime in because I
So,
have
like,
so
you
much to
chime
say
in.
for
Perfect.
for what you said too. So first of all, um, and I already lost one thought. One thought down. No, what I was going to say came back is that our ideas and our visions, they also need to be heard, seen, and acknowledged. So it's like, okay, somebody else has seen me. That's fine. Let's document it and then we can move on. It's like clearing up clutter in your head, or you keep getting it because you haven't done anything with it, or it hasn't been seen and heard. So that's why I felt like um documenting everything that you had shared with me was very powerful, because then your ideas, as we'll call them, as their own person, like, we're able to rest easy, like, okay, I feel seen and heard, yay, somebody gets me, and then we're like, all right, sit here for a minute, and then we're going to show you where to line up in the line, right? And thank you for all of the amazing compliments. I really appreciate that. And I feel like organization of thoughts is something I'm always doing, and it might be one of my creative gifts, that, and I enjoy it. Like, I'm always like reorganizing, like, how could I else reorganize this information? So it's so fun for me, actually, to sit with someone and hear all of their visions and their ideas and everything that's going on in their head, and to be able to help them bring it to life and to fruition. Like, that brings me joy, fulfillment, and excitement. And so coming together is like this synergistic collaboration of world change, right? Let's see. I did want to say, because we talked about you need clarity to take action, you had mentioned that, but I also do want to acknowledge that clarity does also come through action. But I feel like if you can get the clarity before the action, you can move even faster. So for me, like, a lot of my clarity has come through taking action, but I was still like fumbling in the side of the road in the snow. You know what I mean? I was just like, frolicking away, like, okay, I'm a little more clear, but I'm not like as clear as I am now, now that I've had it all mapped out together. And anybody that's been in any programs with me, they can attest to, I'd always say, I need to see the big picture of things. And not everybody is this way, but I am this way, and it's what I needed, and obviously you were this way too, to like really get clear on what it is, because when you do, you are able to stop spinning, stop overcommitting. It made it way easier for me to start saying no to people, which I know you told me the same thing. And when you have that clarity, it's like you can see your next steps so easily. Like, you can take it from this big vision all the way down to today. And that's what happened for me, at least. For you, I know some other things that you did was you made some really hard decisions, and you had some very, very hard conversations. And what's so important with that is that those things take up energy and space. We were talking about, I call them energy leaks, because if they're sitting in your head or your energy or your space in any way, whether it's something that needs to be addressed now or not, it's still draining your energy because it's sitting there. And you have a lot of people that want to collaborate with you because you're so awesome. And it's like coming up with like a process to, for you, you got a lot of clarity, like, I don't want to be anybody else's business partner. Like, I'm creating a vision, and so now I know that, and I know I don't want to be a business partner to anybody else's business, so it's a no. I'll only do collaboration. So that in itself, I feel like, was really, really huge. um,
Yeah, I just wanted to speak to that really quick because
okay.
yes, like that absolutely was something that was so, so huge for me. And I will say that saying no and communicating those hard things was really difficult before we did this process. And it became so much easier because of the clarity that I had. It was like this now it became non-negotiable, right? Because I was like, okay, now I have this big vision. I'm clear on what it is. This is my North Star. I can filter all of my decisions through this vision. And so now I can look at every decision that I have to make, like every opportunity, everything that I'm offered, and I can say, does it help me move towards my bigger vision? If it's a no, if the answer is no, then no. It's like thank you, but no. And this is like I'm just nope, I'm moving this way and I know where I'm going and I'm just, and like this unstoppable because I'm so clear and it's not personal and I can say that to people. I can literally just have this really difficult conversation and say, hey, in the past, I really wasn't clear and I was overcommitting. I was saying yes to way too many things. But now I know where I'm going. I know where I'm headed. I know what my big vision is. So, this doesn't align with my big vision. And that's it. Like, that's it. And it's, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And this is where I'm headed. And I'm really clearing my space and my energy so that I can step into this big vision. And that was such a huge gift, Jen, because honestly, like, how hard it was for me to say no. And I was saying yes to way too many things. And now I feel like I'm just like, it's so easy for me. I can just look at an opportunity and be like, is it aligned? No? Okay, then it's a no.
Same. And this is why I created it, because this is how it's helped me. Exactly the same thing. It's like I get calls all the time because I like to promote other people and sell stuff naturally, And they're like, "Oh, hey, do you want to sign up and do this?" And I'm just like, "No, thank you. Like I'm good." And even like attending other people's workshops and stuff, like for me, I love doing that. Like if time and money was no object, I would probably just go to workshops and take programs all the time because I love it. Like I love it. And also, it is a distraction at times because you overcommit. That's taking your time, your energy, and your effort. And so I have just said no to so many people and so many things because I'm now very clear and attached to my vision. I don't know if attached was the right word. The other thing for me, and also I saw this for you, Melissa, was it allowed me to easily step into a new way of being. Like as soon as I became clear on what I was doing, like made my first event for the Connected Soul Network and, setting another one up for next week, launching this program. This is a big part of it because I need the visionaries to come up and I want to support people in stepping into their gifts, strengths, and talents. And I just know what I needed during the journey, which is why I've created it. And also, like health for me, I've needed to step into health for a long time. And I finally have like that motivation and desire because this is way bigger than me. Like, it's not just about me anymore. What if like so many people could benefit if I just show up and create what I'm supposed to create? And I know that that's going to happen. And I can't do it with poor health. And it's like, if I could use my energy and my emotions and have them regulated and use them wisely, I can show up for other people. And it's so crazy because in Danny's live yesterday, it was just so validating. If you missed it, we talked about the big three in astrology, the sun, moon, and the rising signs. And she read my chart so that people could kind of see how it works if they weren't familiar. And everything she said was so spot on. And she talked about the health piece, and she also talked about everything I do, I was born to do it to help other people move forward. And so it all comes together. And I saw this happen in your own life, Melissa, is that like you are also like taking a stand to being just a whole new person. And that's where you have to like ask yourself, like, here's my vision, here's where I am today. Who do I need to be this vision? Because I've known for like 4 or 5 more years that like I needed to make a lifestyle change. And I've done a lot of things. I'm going to give myself credit for that and acknowledge that, but I'm still not where I want to be. So what was I missing? And I'm missing that why. And for me, the why is a vision. And I want to say, like, I just want to say this because I thought about it earlier. If you feel that your calling and your happiness is within like a 9 to 5, married, kids, that is also people's purpose. Cause I don't want people to think I'm like bashing that. Cause I thought about it earlier and I was like, I don't want that to come off wrong. So I just want to mention that. But it's like, for some people, their why is their kids, it's their family. I don't have kids in a family yet of my own. And so I'm not, who am I coming showing up every day for? My cats? Like, yes, but no. Like, I'm a crazy cat lady. Oh my God. I'm just kidding. I love it. No, I'm showing up for other people. Like, I'm showing up for my vision, and like being connected to my vision is my why. Because people need me to show up and live into my gift so that I can create the platform and the space for them to live into theirs. Anything to add to that, Melissa? Then we should wrap it up.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just want to say that this is such a massive, massive, massive shift. It has been for me in such a huge way. And just, you know, if you are someone who is a visionary who really resonates and relates to what we were saying, then I feel like this is just such a gift. Like seriously, a massive, massive gift to give yourself and the world, right? Because when you do step into that bigger vision, you are creating ripples, right? With whatever it is that you're doing. So Jen, I think people would love to hear.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't have an offer page, like, and this is where the authentic sales piece, I just wanted to mention it. I mean, that's a whole nother live in itself because there's a lot of pieces to it, but it's like, I could let an offer page stop me and be like, "I don't have an offer page, like, I can't make an offer," because some people you talk to are like, "Well, you have to have a website and a logo and an offer page," and I'm like, "Nope, don't have any of those right now." But I still have things to offer people, and what I'm doing is I'm still having a couple founding positions. Melissa was my very first one, and I have a couple more available. So I do have a limited amount. I have two that are open, and it's going to be for a founding price of $9.97, and it's for the vision mapping program. We'll get together. It's one on one, and it'll be 3 sessions of 3 hours. We'll go through your vision, and I'm just here to hold space and be a channel of questions and reflections and documenting. There's a lot more details in it. You'll get a vision planning workbook as well, digital, and then yeah, we just meet and we'll figure it out together, and I'm going to do what it takes to get you to where you need to be. If you are interested, you can leave a comment or you can message me individually if you have questions or anything like that. And I wanted to talk about the authentic sales part of it, because I feel like when you do start to step into the vision, like, we're all going through the same thing, and so many people, like, I'm all, how do I say this the right way? I believe that we all are different and we all have ways of doing things, and different ways work for different people, and you're going to gravitate to who and what works for you. So like, someone might be watching this right now and be like, "Oh, like, she's not for me. She doesn't have a web page. She doesn't have an offer up, blah blah blah." But what works for me is being authentic. Like, it's two founding spots. I have two available. I'm not going to give you a time limit. I'm not going to say like, "Oh, if you don't buy by this time, the price is going up." The price is going to go up after two people because it's going to be moving forward. What I'm trying to say is that I just want to keep it real. Like, I don't want to make it harder than it has to be, and I see that a lot. Like, I see, and I'm not bashing on anybody, but I see like these web pages and they list all these things you're getting, and they're like, the value is $5,000 and I'm selling it for 97. Just like, what? Like, why don't you just sell it for $5,000 then? I don't know. I think of Kohl's. Like, if you guys have Kohl's anywhere, where they always have like these discounts and stuff, and that's okay. But I just want to keep it real. Like, this is me presenting an offer, and what it comes down to is I'm a buyer, and when I see something that I really want, I will just buy it. Like, I don't want to have a sales conversation about it. I don't want you to talk me into it. I'm actually the opposite. Like, I want you to leave me alone and let me make my own decisions. And I believe that, it's a different experience for everybody, but that's how I am. And that's who I want to attract. So if it's a hell yes for you, then let's connect. And if it's a no, that's totally okay too. And support you on whatever journey that you're on, but this is the way that I want to do sales, is I want to attract people that are a hell yes. And for me, that means I'm ready to make the commitment. I'm ready to show up for myself. I'm ready to be in the space and in the energy of growth and development, and in the energy of someone else that I feel called to and connected with, because some of the most important things when you work with people is having a connection and safety. Like, there's nothing like showing up to work with someone and feeling uncomfortable, not feeling seen, not feeling heard, not feeling belonging. Like, I've been to events that I walk in and I'm not greeted, and everybody knows each other and I'm like the new person. For me, I'm like, you should really focus on the new person to make them feel welcome and to make them feel safe in this environment. And so that's what I call authentic sales. Like, I'm just gonna be authentic in how I'm going to do it, and it's either gonna work for people or it's not, and it's okay. It doesn't matter. Melissa, do you have anything to add to this? I feel like I'm
I
just
love
rambling
that. I'm
now.
like, boom. No, I fully agree with you. And just so you know, I mean, you know that I sell high ticket programs and I've never had an offer page ever.
Yeah.
So, I'm 100% with you. Like I really don't I I don't believe in forcing. I don't believe in pushing. I don't believe in tactics, like all that, marketing mumbo jumbo. Like it's okay. It
Tactics.
might work for other people, but
Yeah.
um I don't believe in that. Like I feel like we get to show up as ourselves, and like you said, if we're authentic and people are called to work with us, then awesome. And that's the thing. It's like in that way you will attract the right person
Yep.
that actually really fits like your energy, that's on that wavelength, and that's meant to work with you, right, in like this huge way. It's so much more powerful, because if you have to convince someone to work with you, are they really the right fit,
Yeah.
like we're taught how to do all of these different things, like to like basically convince people to work with us, and at the end of the day it's like, if you had to do that, is that really going to feel good? And I'll be honest that, after doing a lot of programs and stuff, like that's how I started out. Like I would do sales calls and I would sit with someone and I would, like address objections and all of that. But it didn't feel good to me. And I'll be honest, like the people who did convert, as we call it, right, and who ended up working with me, who, was a little bit of a heavier lift, did not feel good. Like it actually ended up not being a good fit. And so I let go of that. And now I'm like, you know what? If someone wants to work with me, they will. And if they don't, they won't. And that's just going to clear more space for the right people. And that's what I believe in, for you, Jen. Like you are truly one of the most authentic people I've ever met. And when you are in that energy of just being you and being authentic and saying like, hey, I'm keeping it real and I'm putting it out there, and if you feel called to it, do it. Like I truly believe that you are going to be, connected to the perfect person that needs what you're offering, and that it's going to be this incredible match for both of you, and that's really what I want for you. And I really want to encourage people, anyone who is feeling really called, to go for it, because it really is such a gift. And honestly, Jen, like I know I already said this to you, but I felt so held, so supported, so loved through the whole process, that it just reawakened that fire and that passion in me. And now I'm like, all right, let's go for this massive
You're
vision.
on
I'm ready.
fire. I know. One thing I want to add to the authentic sales piece, for me at least, and I know you believe the same, is I truly believe that the universe is
Mm,
always working its magic behind the scenes. So, yeah, you can do tactics. Yeah, you can do marketing. Yeah, you can do promoting. And you should, because people have to be able to find you. However, I also believe that the universe is so powerful that it will send like the connections through magical sources. Like I have people that write me, actually Amanda, I think you stumbled across my page and we're connected. We're going to connect next week. And it's like the universe just does that in magical ways. Like I do have one story, Marianne Williamson's book, A Return to Love. I kid you not, in 3 or no, sorry, in 24 hours, 3 different ways that message came to me. I had read it in a blog. My friend asked me, like, "Oh, have you read this book?" And I watched Marie Forleo's video. We talked about her earlier, and she was like interviewing Marianne, which I didn't even know. And so, and they talked about the book and all 3 of these things. And my friend was the third one, and she's like, "Have you read this book?" And I was like, "Okay, universe, like I hear you, you know." And so it's like that power and magic of the universe too. You're always being supported. I'm gonna leave this video. I'm going to have 2 spots open for $9.97 for the vision mapping for creative visionaries program. After that, the price is going to, it'll still be available, but the price is going to go up because it's founding member spots. And I trust that people might stumble across this video, crap, a year from now and contact me and be like, hey, what's it doing? Because I do that to people's stuff all the time. I'm like, oh, this girl's YouTube videos are awesome. And they're like from 10 years ago. And I'm like, let me go to her website and see. And so it's like never underestimate the power of the universe with your sales, like setting the intention, stepping into your gift and showing up like as your authentic self. And the one thing I just want to tell people, because for me, it doesn't feel good when people just hop in my inbox and are trying to sell me stuff. So I always try to just connect with people genuinely and authentically and say, hey, like, who are you? What are you up to in the world? Like, how can we collaborate or work together or serve? And, find out what that is. And that's where the magic happens. Like, I sell stuff without even selling stuff. And that's when people come to me and are like, "Oh, can I hire you for this?" Because I don't have like an alternative agenda under there. I have loving intentions, and my intention, like Melissa talked about earlier, love versus fear, is always stepping into love. And ironically, bringing it all back, the book Return to Love is exactly about that. It's like choosing love over everything and showing up having loving intentions, and it's almost like you can't go wrong, right? So with that, unless you have anything else to add, Melissa.
I really wanted to read Sean's comment because it's so perfect. It's so beautiful and it really fits everything that we're saying.
Okay, I haven't even
So
read them. Sorry. I see you're
well,
writing those, Sean.
Sean
Thank you.
said, "You are also leaving a bigger footprint and impact than this moment. The value of this info and interaction will remain here for people to find forever. When it reaches its audience, it's never not the exact time it's supposed to. So always be authentic because the energy you put out now resonates throughout time." I was like, boom.
Mic drop. Yeah, I got chills. Sean, that's beautiful. That is so amazing. And it's exactly it. Like it's trusting in the higher power and the universe, the source, God, whatever you call it, and always stepping back to that. And that's what I am building my whole brand on is the triangle of connection. It's like source and then me and then everybody else. And we're all connected and it's like we all need to work together. So yeah, that's it. Well,
And Jen,
everybody, thank you. Oh, go ahead.
I just want to say congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm so freaking happy for you
I
because
didn't
of just
die.
like how many people you have supported, how many people you have helped, put out their offers, how many people you have freaking, like sent out into the world and like including myself. I mean, I got so many clients from you and from your support and your love. And I know there's so many of us that wouldn't be doing what we're doing without you. So I just want to say I'm so freaking happy that you're putting yourself out there because the world needs you. Like, absolutely, hands down. Like, we need your magic. So,
Oh, thank you so
congrats.
much.
I
Thank
love
you,
you.
thank you, thank you. Oh, and I wanted to talk about the receiving part. So like just real quick, this is a whole nother live, but a small nugget now is like receiving is so important. So like it's really hard sometimes to come on and to be like talked about. And we talked about this ahead of time because Melissa's like, "Oh, and I can't wait to share this and this and this." And I was like, "Oh, it makes me a little nervous." And I was like, "But I've practiced so much receiving." And in our society, we are conditioned to not receive, or at least I feel like a lot of people are. When you get a compliment, it's like, "Oh, it's an old shirt." No, just say thank you. Like when someone wants to pay for you, no, 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 I got it. Like I just practice now receiving all the time. So, Melissa, I'm receiving all of your amazing compliments about myself. I really appreciate it from my heart. Thank you so much. And to everybody that is here today, live or on the replay, thank you for watching. I hope that you took away something valuable for yourself. And I hope that you are starting to document. You said thank you wrong. What? I don't get it. I hope that you start to document your visions and your dreams and your goals, and that one day you can have them fulfilled, and all of your heart's desire and your soul's desires are all come to fruition. So, if I can help you in any way, feel free to contact me. You can send me a message privately, or you can drop a comment. And until then, I will see you all soon and have an amazing weekend. And thank you to Melissa for being here. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Bye, everybody.